Hey, welcome to the Flying Possum Show. I am Reno, and this guy here is Louie, if you can see him. If you can't, he'll be out later. We just launched our introduction a couple of days ago. This is a brand new show. Again, this is the Flying Possum Show. He's not in my pocket again. He's not in my pocket. He likes my pockets. The title of this show is Getting Started. Getting Started is about being a new flying possum owner. It's about not letting your flying possum crawl in your shirt, because I don't recommend that. Sorry about that interruption. It happens every once in a while. They have sharp nails. That's why I wear a vest whenever I carry them and I hang on to them. I also have pockets that helps them. They love it. But no, this show is about getting started, and it's mainly about new possum owners or people that are thinking about getting a new flying possum, aka sugar glider. You can contact us. We would love for you guys to contact us with any questions, comments. You can reach us at freeflyingpossum@gmail.com. We have a Flying Possum group on Facebook, if you have Facebook availability, and the Flying Possum on Instagram, and at Flying Possum on Twitter. But let's go ahead and jump right into this and see where this goes before I get more distracted than I already am. Who we are, if you don't already know who we are, I only have like one subscriber, and I think it's me, so you probably don't have a clue who I am. So mostly we are a Sugar Glider Connect network of information to help people learn and grow with their new pets, also known as flying possums. Not a network just for new pet owners. We welcome everyone and anyone of all experience levels, no matter what it is, with flying possums. I like to try to be fun and entertaining as much as I possibly can. This is my second video. I did one of an intro. So I'm still a little bit nervous, but I'm going to try to relax it up on this and see how it goes. We do appreciate all constructive comments. We do love questions. It gives us topics on videos that y'all want to hear and watch. But please try to keep it as much to flying possums, aka sugar gliders. I hate the word sugar gliders. That's such a marketing term, sugar gliders. They couldn't market them for what they actually are, is a flying possum. They are the possum family. They are nocturnal, and they are a marsupial. We'll get into that further on in different videos, but they are of a possum family. And just like a flying squirrel, and that's where they get the name flying possum. Sugar glider was made up by somebody in the marketing portion of all of this in the United States to market these guys to make money. That's not what we're here for, okay? I can care less about fortune and fame and all that mess. I make plenty. I do quite well. And I happen to love my babies. I call them babies because I feel like I'm a parent and these are my babies. But I love my flying possums. And this show is about trying to help responsible owners and other enthusiasts and hobbyists that want to get into it and help them grow and become very, very successful pet owners, because they are exotic pets. And I think a lot of people try to get into it, the hobby or the hobby, without knowing what they're actually really seriously getting into. And that's what this is about. And that's what getting started, this whole program, is about. We are a new channel, and in order for us to get into the rankings through YouTube and Facebook's algorithms. It really helps us out when you like us and you subscribe and you share. The more you share our videos, whether you know somebody who's interested, maybe you don't even know that they're interested. The more you share our content, the better it helps you and your friends stay updated on the information, even if they are or are not considering. Maybe they might even like our fun videos. Who knows? But the only way we get out is whenever you share and you like and you subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I don't care about the fortune and the fame. I can care less. But I would like for our content to be able to show up for those that do want it and actually do need it and are looking for it. I'm not very good at title making, so a lot of my title videos or my video titles don't show up as a top streaming title. But it will help if you do like, subscribe, and comment. If you don't like this video, please give me a thumbs down and tell me why. First steps before you get one. Before you get one. Number one, you're not going to get one. You can't just get one. And I'll tell you why. They are a group animal. They are very social. I say a group animal. They are colony. They're a colony animal. That's the word I'm looking for. So there are some things that you will need to consider. First of all, you're not going to get just one. You're going to need to get in a pair. But you need to consider what type of person you are, because it does take a certain type of a person in order to be a responsible, loving parent to a new possum, a new flying possum. And I say that because, one, you need to be responsible. Two, you need to be able to expend a little bit of time. It costs money to get into the hobby. And it costs money to stay in the hobby. And when I ask about what kind of parent you are, this tells me who you are. And who you are is you need to, when you consider trying to get a new flying possum in your family, you need to ask yourself deep down who you are. Are you willing, able, capable, responsible, everything like that, in order to manage two of these animals? Because that's what it's going to take. You need at least two. I have like probably 10. But to the point, you need to be able to know who you are. Do you have the time? Do you have the resources, the money? It's not just you as an individual. You got to look at your family, your household. You got to look at your friends, your future. And I say future like these guys live for quite a while. 12 to 15 years in captivity means in your cage in your house. Are you going to be able to dedicate that kind of time on the everyday things that we're going to go through? And that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to go through a lot of things that you're going to want to consider before bringing home a flying possum. And you need to be ready. That's just, I almost fell off my stool. Did y'all see that? That was almost fucking hilarious, wasn't it? Gosh damn. Flying possums, also known as sugar gliders, and I hate that name. I just told you why. It's a marketing plea. That's all it is. Just letting you guys know. But that's what they're known as. And I lost. Oh, no, I didn't. He's right here. They are a great, huge responsibility. Much more than, say, a dog or a goldfish or a cat or pretty much the household pet. Okay? They have a lot more needs. They have a lot more prep and a lot more things that come with them before before and after you even get them home. You don't want to make this a spur of a moment purchase. Don't go to the mall, watch a YouTube video, see cute videos, and be like, oh, I want one. I'm going to go get one. Woo! Sounds fun. It sounds great till you actually spend the money and you get it home. But that's what we're here for. We're here, and we're actually here to help you to get through this endeavor. Whether it was a spontaneous purchase, you're brand new, you're looking for some help, that's what we're actually here for, and that's what we're trying to put out. That is our mission and our goal. Again, like I said, I am not trying to be famous. I am not trying to be a YouTuber. I'm simply trying to write a video book. I'm not a good writer. I got a woman that she can edit a book like nobody's business. I probably got one of the best editors in my family for writing a book. I don't know how to write, okay? I don't even know how to put thoughts on a book. In fact, everything you're seeing on the screen, she wrote. I didn't have a fucking thing to do with it, to be honest with you. I give you much credit for everybody behind the scenes. I'm the one in front of the camera because I'm a piss poor idiot, but there's one thing that I do know, and it's these guys. I'm going to put that out there, and I want to give a good shout out and a thanks to everybody behind the scenes helping me out. So, thank you very much. Moving on. Are you ready to own a pair? I've already kind of spoken on this. You're not just going to buy one, you need to get a pair. They are a colony animal. They are social. And when I say social, not only social with their own kind, they are social with everything around them that lives. And they enjoy being sociable with them. But it takes time for them to get there. So another thing you need to consider, as in who you are, is do you have the patience to be able to get to know your new pet, your new flying possum? And another thing you need to consider are, do you have other pets? Because they will bond with other pets. Me personally, I have 2 dogs. They don't have a problem with my flying possums, and they are bonding with them. But it's taken time. I have a cat. He's locked up right now because I have Louie out. Yep, I have one of my baby flying possums out. It's Louie. Not really a baby. He's an adult now. He's hiding from you. So it's something you might want to consider as to who you are, along with who you're living with, who your family is, who your friends are, what your future plans are, but also your pets. The one thing I highly disrecommend is snakes, because they don't know anything. My dogs, they know babies. Don't hurt them. They're safe. They're good. They're okay. Cat, he looks at him as a toy right now, but we are working to bond, so he understands. It will take a lot of time. But moving on, deciding to get one of them, you really need to get 2. And that's just, where it really comes down to. There's a lot of heartbreaking stories, whereas if you only have one, they go into a deep depression. They will start self-mutilating. They will do things that you really don't want to have to deal with. And you're like, well, it costs more money to get an extra one. Yeah, well, consider your vet bills and losing them. And that's where it really comes down to. I mean, and I say it that way, but don't put them into that, into that distress. If you're not able to get 2 of them, I wouldn't even bother with even getting a cage. And that's pretty much just where I'm going to leave that. And we're going to move on. I love my background people, everybody behind the scenes. I don't know why she puts the word next into this. I asked her not to. But do you have the time to spend with them? You got to think about time. You've really got to think about time. These guys actually require a lot of time. In fact, the person that helped me put together, she's actually standing behind the camera right now. She's right in the middle of making fresh food for our flying possums. We don't buy pellet food. We don't, not to say there's not some treats out there for them, but we don't just feed them, You don't feed them cat food. You don't feed them dog food. You don't feed them rabbit food. You don't, that they don't eat that. Okay. Oh, nectar. They're not. I had somebody who's like, I ordered some food and I ordered some nectar, and I'm like, so you ordered some rabbit food or some whatever kind of food you think you're getting that's relabeled and remarketized for sugar gliders, and you got nectar. I mean, what are you talking about? Did you get some hummingbird nectar? They're not hummingbirds. They're sugar gliders. They get their nutrients from fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay? I mean, and that's what you need to leave it to. Fresh fruits and vegetables. They need protein, calcium, and lots of calcium. These guys they're already somewhat calcium deficient, so we do the best we can to try to get them not too much, but we try to get them enough calcium where they can stay healthy. There is a fun side. You get to there is the bonding, there is the playing, which also consumes time. Socializing with them. It's great to have friends come over. Like, ooh, what do you got here? Oh, I want to play with them. I got friends that come over all the time, and they just want to play with the flying possums. They love them. But it is time consuming. Okay. Another thing with time is, outside of the daily and the weekly time commitment, that they have an expectancy of about 12 to 15 years. And another thing that's probably not up here on time that I am wanting to reach out to you guys is you've got to consider like what your travel time is. Okay. My profession is I do drive an 18-wheeler truck. And if it wasn't for everybody in the background that I have helping me out, I wouldn't be able to have these guys, because I spend a lot of time traveling. And so if you're going to spend a lot of time traveling and you don't have any help at home, this is probably not the pet for you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm fucking saying. I'm telling you flat out. I wouldn't be able to have it. So I think, again, my crew behind the scenes that helps me out. But just like with all pets, please, just ready, willing, and able to commit time. Yeah, you gotta walk the dog. You gotta walk your flying possum. I mean, that's just the way that works, But you got bonding time. You got tent time. We're about to go over that. I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of boring, a lot of be patient. Again, you got to find out who you are. Do you have the patience? Do you have the responsibility? Do you have the time? And do you have the money? And that's what it really comes down to. Well, there's that next one. Do you have the money? Yes, guys, these are not cheap pets. Okay? Like I said in my introduction video, launching this show, you can go down and you can get you pretty much a purebred pedigree with papers puppy dog. It would be a lot easier to raise than a flying possum, also known as a sugar glider. So I would. There's puppy dog people. Actually, there's a lot of people out there that don't even deserve to have dogs that do have dogs, in my opinion. But there's puppy dog people, and then there's an exotic pet people, and that's what these are. If your 8-year-old or your 11-year-old child says, "Oh, I found a sugar glider video on YouTube," and I would reconsider buying an 8 to 15-year-old, 16-year-old a sugar glider, a flying possum, because chances are, as the parent, it's going to wind up being your pet. So look at the responsibility before purchasing for a minor, because they are expensive. And if your minor doesn't have a job, you're also forking out that bill. A lot of things to consider with money. One, you have a setup cost. Cages, you've got pouches, you've got wheels, and we're about to go through a lot of that stuff. You've got emergency needs, such as a vet bills, just for checkups, annually checkups, emergency. I mean, you need to find an exotic vet that can and will help you with this type of animal. Another thing to consider before we get off the, I mean, I'm kind of basically pretty much off of the money situation because they aren't cheap. You can pretty much see up here if you've read through it as you're listening to me here on video. I don't need to go through all the details, you know, about them running X amount of dollars a piece or a pair, because we're about to go through several other things that's going to add to that amount of dollars, and it does add up. But another thing that you might want to truly consider is, well, what I'm going to truly consider is, I think I lost my train of thought there. Trying to get off of that. Spend the money on. Anyways, well, we're gonna get off the money deal. They cost money. That's just the cold hard facts, guys. I mean, you can see everything. I mean, you're gonna need cage toys, pouches, exercise equipment, wheels, food, and again, that doesn't even include the price of the pair of sugar gliders that you're gonna need. I was gonna say something and I completely lost my train of thought there. So, you think you got the commitment? You think you can find the time? God, I'm telling you. You think you can find the time? You've got enough money in the bank, and you realize you're a pretty responsible person. You pay your bills on time. You got kids and family, and you know, a spouse that loves you, and you're taking care of everything. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next steps. Just to give everybody that's new and doesn't really know what they're doing, I'd like to go back to what I wanted to say earlier, but failed to say because I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm having a beer. At 1 o'clock in the morning, doing a show for you guys. So pardon me. I need a drink. Getting set up. So these are things you're going to need to, these are things you're actually going to need. This is almost at bare minimum. You could always go over and abroad, but you're going to need a cage. There's a certain size and certain bar spacing and a certain placement, bar placement, and I don't know what the hell. Pouches. We're going to go through pouches. We're going to go through the bonding tent. We're going to go through an exercise wheel. We're going to go through the water bowl and dining room. We're going to check all this stuff out, guys. But there is something that kind of came up. You will need to find, another thing you need to consider is, do you have the space? It's one thing that didn't get put down here in my notes, and I put these notes up here for you guys. They're also here for me, but I don't have to show them to you. I show them to you because I think it might help you as much as it helps me. But one thing that didn't get put up here is space. Do you have the space for it? Do you actually have the space for the cage, for them to be able to roam around? You need to be able to also consider, are you willing to possum-proof your house, or your space of living where you're going to have them? That's something that you might want to consider. So we're going to go ahead. Gosh, damn. Dude, I know you're fucking biting me. I want him. Princess is not here. And he's not being nice. And this shit's on video, guys. This is what you got to deal with. Okay, this is part of being a possum owner. This is definitely not the cage you're going to put them in. So if you think you're going to buy you a flying possum at the flea market or at your local pet store, or you find a cheap dealer or a breeder or whatever on Craigslist, and you think this is what you're going to put them in? I wouldn't think so. That's a bad idea, guys. That is like the worst case. hamster wheel, hamster cage, hamster tunnels. Call it a hamster cage for a reason. It's for hamsters, not a flying possum. Huh. Well, damn it, Reno, why do you have a fish tank on the screen? Well, I'll tell you why. One of my first pets was a rat. About as white as Louie is. He had red eyes. You know what I kept him in? What they call a rodent tank. Or a reptile tank. It's not always a fish tank. It can be used for many, many things. This tank, or cage, is a big no-no. Big, huge no-no. Well, Reno, that looks like a pretty nice cage to me. What's wrong with that one? Well, we're going to knock this one to pieces. This actually happened not too long ago, and I've got a lot of complaints about it. The bar spacing is really, really wide. I'm not sure how well you can see it up there on that video, but in this picture, them bars are about that wide. And that means your little flying possum is going to get out. Next of all, she's got a little bed down here. It's clipped to the cage. It's cool. It's got little pockets inside of here. They run in and out. This thing right here is like a tunnel. It goes up there to a little platform. That's kind of cool. But the bars on that cage are not going to work. The bars on that cage are not going to work. And I also have a bitch about this pouch right here. It's not easily removable. She's got metal rings sticking up here. And this is a picture that I got from a lady that was thinking about getting a pair of flying possums for me. And I told her that cage wasn't going to work. The bar spacing. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't say anything about anything else. I just told her the cage wasn't going to work. And then I had recommendations for her. We're going to go through those. This is also another cage from somebody I know, and you're probably like, well, Reno, at the Flying Possum, what in the world's wrong with that cage? From a distant view, looks big enough, looks comfortable. It's got the wheel, it's got the hammocks, it's got, you know, it's even got a little space down here below the cage where you can put stuff. Well, let's take a deep dive into it and let's really find out what's wrong with it. These bars are really zoomed in. But it's a vertical running bar. We'll go back one slide so you can get probably a better view. They're vertical run bars. Okay? This is a Brisbane bird cage. I know that. I basically grew up at a pet store. My grandmother owned a pet store and my dad owns it now. But this is basically a Brisbane bird cage. It has a very poor coating on the outside of it. They're very typical to rusting. I don't know where she got this cage or what the situation was with this, but this is a cage Louie came out of. That's just being factual. Like I said, I basically pretty much rescued him as much as I pretty much rescued her. But I'll tell you what's wrong with this cage really. It's not just the verticalness. This, I don't know if you can see it as well in the videos. I can see it in here. But all the rust. And that's what these cages do. These typical bird cages. Like the bars are close enough. They can't get out. Yeah, but this rust, when those gliders, they jump. They grab them bars. They slide and it tears their hands up. You don't want to get tetanus when... Do you want your animal to get tetanus? Because it's going to hurt them a heck of a lot more than it's going to hurt you. Another thing wrong with the cage, she had wide openings up here. The reason why Louis lost his partner before I inherited him, well, she escaped. How did she do that? Right through these big old gaping holes that was meant for a bird. The design was completely changed from this one side of the cage to where the middle is. Big gaping hole, walked right out of the cage. That's why she put duct tape up there. Four days later, she sends me this picture. Brand new cage. Brand new cage. This is a cage that I recommend. I think that's a nice cage. I'll tell you why. Because that's the one that Princess and Louis stay in. And I have one more right next to it. But I don't know if you can see in the video, these have more horizontal bars acting like a ladder instead of vertical bars acting like a bird cage. This cage has a coating on it that, unless you have it outside in a barn, they can't chew through it. We're going to have a whole segment on cages, but this is my recommended cage. It is from Critter Nations. I am not sponsored by them. Again, you can see up close we have the vertical bars. The horizontal bars, not the vertical bars, which acts like a ladder for them. So when they jump, they're not grabbing and sliding. They can grab and actually hang on. Better for them. Again, this coating, it's not rusting. You don't see any rust. We have a clamp here. They can't operate these doors on their own to get out. There's another cage in the back. I actually meant to bring that up. I didn't. I failed to do that. My bad. So cages. The size that I have, she brought the size up. I use what they call a double Critter Nation, and the actual dimensions, you're gonna have to look it up. I had a picture of it, but I asked her to put it down here and it didn't happen. So bar spacing, you want a 1/2 inch bar spacing. I prefer, again, for exactly the reasons why I just said, the bar position, I prefer more horizontal versus vertical. Safety, you're going to want to get something that's coated with a non-toxic, non-corrosive material, which these double Critter Nation cages are, which is why I prefer them. Pouches. Yeah. There's a picture. That's that pouch right there. You can see my hand on it. That is that pouch. That's what's in the picture. That actually came. They thought that was cute. That's cute, for one. This is what they call a bonding pouch. I actually hate these things, and I'll tell you that in another video. But it's so tiny, it's really dang near worthless. And somebody put it in a cage and thought they were being slick and using this. Yeah, that's on the next slide. As an in-cage pouch. And what they did was they tore up the strap, which leaves little strings that they can hang themselves on, choke themselves with. Not a good deal. You can tell it was all roughed up. Yep, another one that we accumulated. The pouch that you want is one just like Louis' pouch. And I have somebody behind the scenes that's going to go grab that out of the cage for me now, and we're going to show you the difference between these two. And what I mean by a removable pouch. Removable. Yes, it does have these cute little tabs. Yes, it does. You can hang it from the cage. I don't. Why? Don't I? I put it in a cage just like that, and he's happy with it. He's going to climb right on in there. He's going to do his own thing. We put blankets and stuff in there. And to give you guys a size difference, this is Louis, and this is theirs. This is what I just showed you. You see what I'm saying? Big difference. Big difference. Yes, you can hang this from the cage. Yes, you can. I don't, because when they climb in there, I can just go like this, and I can grab them out, and I can take them right into my bonding tent. Here. I can take them right into my bonding tent. And the bonding tent, there's going to be a lot more on this, but what that is there's a lot of people that I just showed you a bonding pouch somebody was using as a cage pouch. But a bonding pouch, I've had a lot of bad experiences with them, and I personally don't like them. I don't think they're worth anything because, yeah, they're getting to know your scent, but they're not getting to know you. And they can get to know your scent and get to know you without a bonding pouch. And the best way to do that is with a tent. Another thing, as a brand new flying possum owner, the last thing you want to do is shove your flying possum into a little purse and carry him around with you and never be able to get him out and actually pet him and expose him. What a tent does is it actually allows you, when you bring your pet home for the first time, after you let him get used to his cage for about a week or two. What? Reno, did you just really say, after I bought my animal, I've got to let him get used to his cage for a week or two? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's already stressed. He's been through a lot of stuff. Doesn't matter where he came from. An independent breeder, a pet store, a mall, a flea market. It doesn't matter. When you bring him home and you set him up, you put him in his cage, you want him to be stress-free and you want him to get to know his environment where he's going to be. Once he does that, you grab that handy-dandy little pouch in the middle of the day when he's asleep, and you open up one of these little tents and you go put yourself in there. Might want to get you a little plate of food like I showed you earlier with fresh fruits and vegetables on it. Maybe get you a little bowl of water. Take him in there. You might want to take some kind of a device, whether it's a tablet, a phone, or a book, something to keep yourself occupied, because all you're going to do is just sit in there while he runs around. And he's probably going to want to go right back to his pouch. I take that and I unlock it. I lock it outside the tent so he can't get back in it, and he has no choice but to hang out with me. And you'll find out that that works quite well. We're going to have more on this topic later, but a bonding tent, if you want a happy, healthy relationship with your flying possum, these are almost a must. We're going to get onto the wheels. That's the wheel that's on the camera. I don't know how well my recording is. But you see how wobbly that is? No. And it's made of metal. Bad deal. Just another hamster wheel, just like the one I showed you in the cage. She was going to put even a smaller wheel than that one. And I wouldn't use that for nothing. That's a joke to me. That goes on the wheel of shame, just like a cage of shame. So many people use bad shit all the time. You'll see these are pretty popular in the flying possum community. They sell them with little nail filers that fall apart. They have a bar that runs right through the middle the tail can get caught up in. And all these beautiful little holes right here that you think are so decorative, well, actually knocks your flying possum out, kills it dead. Especially, well, because you're going to get two of them, right? One of them's running, the other tries to get in, bam! Well, Reno, the one you just showed us didn't have those. Yeah. This wheel is actually worse than the one I showed you before, just because of that. And it's actually a bigger wheel. That's why it's popular. This, I don't have a real, I mean I do, it's in my cage. It's actually, that's Louis and Princess's wheel. It's brand new, we just got that. That is a Raptor wheel. This is a highly recommended wheel from any reputable flying possum owner and a lot of hobbyist enthusiasts out there. It's big enough. This thing is like this big. I mean, like it's actually almost as big as what you see on the screen here. It's actually pretty big. Very open, and it's very silent and very stable. They love to run, and they love to jump when they run. So you need something pretty big when they're up there. What I want to talk about next is the food and water. Water bowls. Obviously, you're going to need water bowls and you're going to need water bottles. And the food, this is what we call a dining area. And it's basically just a Tupperware with latching lids. I'm sure y'all seen them. They seal. And then you fold. And it's kind of upside down. Like some of you guys would probably flip it the other way. Instead of really flat, you have the bowl side on the bottom. Flip it upside down. Drill holes in them so they can get in and out. And we put the food in there. They tend to get pretty messy when they eat. As you can tell by the crap that's on the chain. That's from all the food that got slung outside of the cage and all over the chain. That's exactly what that is. That, you know, how do they get out of the kitchen? They walk. They walk on the chain and the food's on their hands. But they throw it everywhere. Everywhere. So it's a recommended. It's not necessarily needed, but it is highly recommended. There's going to be toys that are involved. If you don't believe me that they play with toys, go watch my other past videos of Louis playing with rings. Man, he loves his rings. He loves playing with toys. They all love playing with toys. They run on the wheels. They play with toys. They drag toys. In fact, when I had the pouch out here live, it had rings inside of it because he takes them inside of his pouch. You can go check out that video. I recommend you doing that. But when you do get toys, please, this is highly important. Think about this. We want to use plastic and PVC only, guys. Plastics and PVC only. I recommend baby toys, like literally not rubber, no rubber toys, but plastics and like we have toy pot. I have like plastic teapots. I have old plastic battleships, and I have old plastic, you know, car things and stuff I put in there. Let them play. They love it when you change toys in and out. And there's all kinds of stuff. They've got we'll make a whole video on just the toys. But one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to use metal. No metal, no string, and no thread. Just like I mentioned earlier about the old bonding pouch here that's somebody used as an in-cage pouch, and they got tore up. Thread, string everywhere. You don't want that. That was piss poor ownership on that person's part. But just keep in mind, yeah, when you're dealing with toys, try to stick with the plastics. No metal, no strings, no thread, no wood. Only certain types of wood. I prefer cork. They say cork is best for them. And there are certain types of wood that are good and bad for them, and that'll be a whole other video. Let's try to stay away from the wood till we get to that point. We're going to get to the money. This is where it drives me crazy as somebody who has to find buyers for his offspring. Am I a breeder? I don't like to consider myself a breeder. I consider myself to have pets that have offspring. Well, how come you don't? Well, Reno, how come you don't fix them? How come you don't get them new? Well, I don't, because I'm actually looking for something right now. And when I find it, then I'll worry about that. But I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of cheap shots, and it's like, you know what? Again, a lot of these stories actually come from. I mean, those cages I showed you actually happened. I mean, this crap right here I got, I ain't never been in my cage. That crap came out of somebody else's cage. And I happen to end up with flying possums. I've been doing this for a while. And these are just small examples. I've gotten rid of a lot of crap. But cost. And I say cost is because somebody thinks they're going to go down and buy this for $5.99 at PetSmart. They're going to get this for $6.99 at PetSmart or whatever. And then they're going to get a little gerbil cage to put it in, and they're going to have fun with their new pet. That's not what you want to do. That's not a responsible at all. That's not what these guys need. That's not what they want. Okay, I'm just telling you. When it comes down to it, your cage is going to run you about $250 to $300. I'm just being flat out honest with you. I mean, I'm probably the only person who's actually going to break it down to you. And this is August 28th. 2020, and these right here are pretty much current prices. You're going to be looking at a cage, like I said, a double critter nation from Midwest runs you about $250 to $300. Cage cover for that cage about $30 to $50. You're going to need a pouch, about $25 to $35 a piece. Bonding tent. You can pick those up at Walmart. They're basically just a children's pop-up tent. We kind of went over that a little bit. We're going to go over it a little bit more. We're going to go through all this a little bit more in future videos. Probably not this video. This is just getting started. You're going to run about $25 to $50, and the Raptor wheel is $75. The wheel that they need. You know, water bottles, bowls, and that doesn't include the toys. It doesn't include the extra bedding that you're going to need for washing and exchanging. You know, while you're cleaning the cage up, the dining areas, you know, $10 and more, with customization work. That doesn't sound like much, right? Well, that comes out to about $415 to about $535. That's before purchasing the flying possum itself. That doesn't include the food. Average about $25 a week. Plus the maintenance and cleaning supplies throughout the duration of the flying possum. Nor does it include the minimum of 7 hours a week for your time. We didn't mention the annual vet checkups you might need, or the emergency case scenario when your dog attacks your flying possum, or your cat gets a hold of it, or it does something stupid, or gets his leg caught up in something and you got to rush it to the vet. Nope, doesn't include that. And again, it doesn't include the price of the flying possum, which run you about $200 to $600 a piece. That could be $400 to $1,200 for a pair. So to wrap it up, guys, the main point in this whole video is to make sure you know who you are, where you stand before you get a flying possum. These are just things that you need to think about. And if you're not willing to give them the best, I mean, I'm not talking about going out and buying Armani suits and, you know, buying them Gucci, you know, clothes and Nike shoes. Okay, they're not your kids. Okay, they are to me, but they're just gonna be a pet for you. But if you're gonna have a pet, don't hit the Craigslist and buy the cage, the dono cages. Don't get that rusted cage on the side of somebody's front, you know, in somebody's trash pile they're throwing out, thinking you're gonna put a sugar glider in it and you're gonna be happy and healthy with it. Don't go get one of these. That's what I'm saying. If you can't stay away from that crap, and if you can't get the real stuff, I mean, what they need. I say the real stuff. I mean, what they really, really need. If you can't do that, and you don't have you're obviously not going to be responsible. You're obviously, I mean, you can't afford it, because if you're trying to skimp right in at the beginning, you're not gonna. You shouldn't even think about having one. And that's just the facts. I hate to be like that, and I hate to sound like that, but that's what I'm here for, is to be the flat out, plain old fucking truth. Okay? So to wrap it up, guys, I hope you've got a lot of information here. And I hope I helped out a lot of people. If I didn't, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you, but these are things that you need to consider. And if you can't consider them, maybe you should consider just not being a flying possum owner. With that being said, now that I was negative to everybody, and it's like, well, you don't like what I said, you're probably not going to end up liking me, but I'm still going to ask you to like, subscribe. If you don't like, please tell me why. Please comment. And for anything else, share it. Share it with somebody you know. They might be considering it. Maybe they might want to. Maybe they might need to hear that information, because you know what? I'd rather change somebody's mind about getting a flying possum, aka sugar glider, before they get one and decide it was a bad decision. So I would rather change somebody's mind before the start versus have them go through a bad negative experience with them. Or if they're really seriously thinking about getting into it and they're really committed to doing exactly everything well, there's more videos to come, but they're committed to, you know, hey, I can do that. I can pull that off. I can get the right thing. I'm committed to that kind of money. I'm committed to that kind of responsibility. I'm committed to that kind of time. And you decide it is for you, then I would hope that you would actually subscribe so you can stay tuned to our next video, because we're going to go in depth into cages, because that's going to be our next step, because that's where you're going to be bringing your flying possum home to, is its new home, and that's going to be his cage. So we're going to go into depth in cages. So please subscribe. If you don't like, give me a thumbs down. Tell me why. If you do love us, give me a thumbs up and tell us why. And if you don't want to give any thumbs up or thumbs down, but you just want to reach out and get a hold of us, I wish I can go back to my front page. I'd give you, but it's freeflyingpossum@gmail.com, and you can reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram as well. But do subscribe and stay updated. Thanks for watching The Flying Possum Show.